What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be doing a video that I've been wanting to do, and that is, what if the island of Sodor was real? So as you guys can see in this picture, this is the island of Sodor. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a fictional place from Thomas and Friends. And this is what the island of Sodor would be like if it was in real life, which isn't, because like I said, it's a fictional place. So as you can see on the left and right side, you've got the Isle of Man on the left, and then you have Britain. But in Thomas and Friends, they call England the mainland. So any mainland characters, like Spencer and that, for example, would come from the mainland / England. They would come to the island of Sodor. And as you can see, this is the main line. So the key to the map, the main line is lined as black. Well, coloured black. So from Tidmouth, this is where the main line actually goes to. Or where it goes. It goes all the way to Vickerstown. And then if anyone wanted to leave the island of Sodor and then go back to Britain, they would have to go across this bridge called Vickerstown Bridge and then get to Barrow. So that means they're in the mainland. So a bridge that looks like this. Now, I haven't watched the CGI Thomas and Friends ever since I've stopped watching it after Hero of the Rails. So yeah, this is the Vickerstown Bridge. As you can see, left side, sorry, excuse me, my voice broke. So left side is the island of Sodor, and then the right side is Britain. Now, you might have seen this, because I've seen this in the game Thomas and Friends, Wonders of Sodor. So if you was to try to leave the island of Sodor across this bridge, then all of a sudden, your game would end, which is kind of annoying. But you have to stay on the island of Sodor, because it'd be so cool in Thomas and Friends that you can always explore the island of Sodor, like on the main line, and then you can explore Britain, like when you go across this bridge. That would be quite cool if they ever did that. So, I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to show you the pictures on here. So I showed you these two, and I'll show you where the railway line from here would go. So if you was to enter the island of Sodor from Britain. So this is Great Britain, as we all know. And here, where it's red marked, is where the island of Sodor would be. Because like I said, there's the Isle of Man, and there is Britain. So right on this picture, I know it's quite blurry. So here is where Barrow is. So that's somewhere in Britain. So there's the part of the island of Sodor, Vickerstown, and then you go across this bridge and then join up to Britain. So now I'm going to show you on Google Map, if the island of Sodor was actually real, I'll show you where the lines would go exactly. So let's go on a Google Map. So here is Great Britain. There's the Isle of Man, and there is where Barrow is. So it does look similar to the one I showed you here. So as you can see, this island here, although it does look a bit different, mind you. So there's Barrow, and there is where the train station is in Barrow. So Barrow in Furness. So I think either start from here or here, but actually most likely would be here, because think of what you see in this photo here. So there is the train station in Barrow in Furness. So you have the whole Great Britain. So if you was to enter the island of Sodor, you would have to turn off at the junction. So maybe like a siding. Well, you know what I mean. So kind of like this, for example. I don't know how you explain it. So you turn off from the tracks, like maybe here, and I'll follow where the lines would go if the Island of Sodor was real. So maybe the Flying Scotsman, Spencer, or whoever is from the mainland goes to the Island of Sodor. So the junction turns off from here. You'd go in a straight line. And then you go. So from here, there is a bridge. You go across the bridge. And then maybe go through here. And then maybe like a bridge where it's like a hill sort of thing. Well, you know what I mean anyway. So you can go over these roads. So maybe just go like over this road, past here. So you can see on my mouse cursor where the railway line route would go if the Island of Sodor was real. Past this road, and there's building here, so you want to go past that. And then railway line, like here. And then another bridge to cross from here, across the water, and then through the waters. Well, you know what I mean. Cool. Let's see what it looks like on the satellite. Oh, I see. All right. So cross there. Or actually, no. Yeah, cross here. And then you go through there. There's the road. So maybe a bridge or a railway. No, not bridge. Not a level crossing or a bridge, but I think mostly a level crossing. And then through here, another level crossing. Well, that's actually the lay-by. So I think maybe like go down here. Now, let's have a look at the picture. So you might see, so this is what Britain looks like on the other side of the Island of Sodor. But in this one, this is what it looks like. So if we look maybe down here, it's kind of tricky to think, where would it begin if you was to go to the Island of Sodor? So I think maybe, perhaps just go. Oh, I'm lost now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I think maybe just go here, and then there'll be like more rocks and cliffs, just like what you saw in the picture. And it'll be really close. So maybe the Island of Sodor part would be here, just where my mouse cursor is. And there we go. This is what I think the railway line route, where I showed you with my mouse cursor, would be if the Island of Sodor was real. But unfortunately, there is no Island of Sodor. But if there was one in real life, maybe I would go and visit it. But I know the Thomas and Friends fans would go and visit it. But what do you guys think? Would you go and visit the Island of Sodor if it was real? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear your thoughts. But that's going to be it for today's video. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. A like is always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you will not miss another video. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day and night to you all. Peace out. Underwater.